You see, I believe you when you say it. I didn't believe Craig. Now he's not here. I can go ahead and talk bad about him. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't believe Craig at all.
Craig was
Anytime
a
he said
son of a
anything,
bitch.
he said the oddest things about you when you weren't here, Danny. It was weird. It was rather aggressive. Some very aggressive things about
Danfinity's laugh offends me.
you've nailed his robotic delivery too. I was never a fan of his beard. I'm pretty sure it's fake. It was weird. It got awkward, sometimes in calls when you'd get up, walk away, and then he'd be like, "Gosh, can you believe the gall of that guy?" I don't know what you did to him.
That guy really had the balls to say that.
Like, for real. We're all here. We all heard it. I have it recorded.
We're now
stereo.
This is just the podcast now.
This is it.
It's a Craig tryout cast. Yeah.
Us ripping on a recording program.
Yeah. Nim, your turn.
No.
Hey, that sounded just like him.
That did.
I mean, so we had issues with that program. What ultimately pushed you over the railing on not using it anymore? I thought it worked for you for a while.
Oh, it did. It worked great for a while, and then it stopped working. Because we would have to adjust Craig into our little Brady Bunch bit that we had here, so that he wouldn't appear. But if somebody's camera went off, or if he decided to leave, it would mess the entire thing up. So it's not worth keeping Craig around. I have used Craig since, and he has worked great. He just does not work for Planet Destiny.
Yeah, and talks real bad about anybody the moment they leave the room.
Yeah, immediately.
Craig was a program we used as like a backup recording for the audio for these shows, everybody. Just to clear up the no doubt immense anger and confusion that is mounting as we cold open this show.
You know what? Fuck Craig.
Yeah, that guy's a dick. He's a dick.
Such a dick. Such a dick.
It's always popping up when you didn't want him. The moment you needed him, he was gone. Oh no, I didn't record that. It's like, oh no. TBL got booted offline by a random thunderbolt or something. Craig, did you get that? Oh, was I supposed to be recording?
Now recording.
It's only my primary function. Sorry, guys. I dropped the ball.
This joke only works for people who know what Craig is.
Yeah. Like I said, the anger is probably mounting right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 284 of the Planet Destiny podcast, where we waste your time not talking about Destiny, but talking about audio engineering and the many headaches you run into when you are trying to put together a show about the things that you love. Welcome back after a bit of a hiatus. Had a couple of weeks off to observe some holidays and all that kind of good stuff. And we're back strong, ready to tackle the news of the week as it turns in Destiny 2. Solstice of Heroes went live this week. We're back in the European aerial zone. We've got some legendary armor to grind out. Hopefully some of you guys have already gotten your majestic gear and all that. Going to be talking quite a bit about that. I'd imagine it's probably going to be the lion's share of the show. But joining us this week, we actually have the whole crew. It's weird. When everybody gets multiple weeks off, everybody shows up. Nim Plays. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, fam?
It's good to have you here. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts about Solstice and how it's definitely kept you playing nonstop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's about what I thought. Oh, we've got Danfinity.
Oh, hi.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I'm well rested, a little sunburnt. This
a little.
This is my life.
I think turning off that extra light helped the complexion a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely helps hide the melted skin that's on my neck.
Your boy was looking like just a lobster from the head to the neck. It was just pure red. It was great. had to change that before the show, and I
Looked like
love
a
it.
red Hulk.
Which one?
The one that was like more angry.
Your old Thunderbolt Ross. Okay, we got it. You should cosplay as that. Just shave everything down here, keep the mustache. You could be a Ross.
Halloween episode.
I'd take it. Just Dan spends 50 hours outside in direct sunlight
In October.
in October for the purpose of a cosplay. Doesn't seem worth it.
We'll see.
And of course, I am the Black Link. With that, let's go ahead and dive on into stuff this week because something that might be about as bad as standing outside in direct sunlight for 50 hours is usually spending time in the European aerial zone when it comes to Solstice of Heroes, which is of course, summer event that is now returned to Destiny 2 for this is the third, fourth time they've done Solstice?
Third year in a row for EAZ.
Definitely third year for the EAZ, which I think even on the last episode of this show, we were talking about, I hope it's not the EAZ. I just hope it's not the EAZ. Well, the European Aerial Zone is back, boys. What do you think?
Mem, why don't you start?
We're starting this way. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, give me the salt.
It's the same damn thing
Yeah.
over and over again.
It is.
I know. I saw the trailer. The first thing that they put up was EAZ. Well, okay. All right. This is probably going to be the first Solstice where I don't grind out like my other characters. Just my Warlock, and that's it.
Which is honestly kind of ironic because they've made grinding subsequent characters easier than it's ever been. Like, it's easier to get your subsequent character's armor up to max than it has ever been in previous Solstice, events. And to be honest, getting your main armor up to Majestic isn't that bad this year. It's much more streamlined than it was in previous years. Bungie made the objectives a lot easier to figure out and a lot easier to get done. You don't have to spend a copious amount of time in the European aerial zone.
Yeah.
That was
God, dude, remember the first iteration of Solstice? How just bad that was.
It was like, all right, well, you're spending the next 8 hours per character in the EAZ doing this single activity over and over and over again, and it was the worst. It was
just for the blue set.
Yeah.
It was real bad.
I will say, so like, it is EAZ all over again.
Yeah.
There are a few things that I like about this version of it.
Agreed.
100%.
The jump pads are just boop, cool.
Yeah.
Dig those.
Once you figure out that you're supposed to stop forward momentum when you walk into them, yeah, those are pretty nice.
And sometimes they're under a lip of something, so like you will bonk your head as soon as you get on there. That figuring out that angle is a little weird, but I like the fact that the chests are still viewable. Throughout the entire thing.
Change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is something that I was like, if that was here in the first iteration, probably would have saved a lot of tears.
Yeah, and a lot of time.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like the changes they did, it definitely makes that activity, a little less painful. But just loading into the tower and getting the blue set and patrol activities, 500 orbs here, like that. I knew people that were like on it. They were like on their second character by the end of the night, and I was just like, God damn, it just barely finished my blue set. Holy shit, y'all.
Yeah,
right.
It's wild.
And that's sort of the thing. The challenges this year really aren't bad. I'm pulling up a really helpful Google document somebody made.
I've got the Braytech. Like Braytech has a whole Solstice of Heroes like breakdown sheet of all the stuff to do, and it's not that. They've tried
nowhere
to
near.
take the pain points out of it a lot of the time, where it's like there's no trials necessity, there's no competitive playlist necessity. So if you don't want to play PvP, you don't have to at all.
Right, it's optional.
Yeah, and like even the stuff where it's just where maybe you don't want to do Wrathborn hunts, right? Or like you don't want to run for those.
Yeah.
You can run, 2 full blind wells and get that all the way through.
That was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting that done in 2 blind well runs was very much appreciated because nobody doing Wrathborn hunts.
Right.
I did the Wrathborn hunts.
What? How many did it take?
Oh my god.
And why?
I think like five hunts. It was
so
like
you did-
I think it was
Okay.
like 25% a run.
Okay.
And if you did the Savix one,
Mhm.
it takes less than like 5 minutes to complete.
right. Yeah, that's a quick one.
So yeah, so me and our good buddy Sentinel Gray
Yeah.
pretty much just parked ourselves in Thieves Landing and the other person in Sorix's Cut and just
just back and forth.
just back and forth, just easy peasy. It was super
Yeah.
quick because I didn't want to run blind well. Like no,
Yeah.
no.
Blind well wasn't bad for
Yeah.
me though.
I just wanted quick and easy, quick and out.
This was
Boom,
quick and
boom,
easy.
done.
This was quick and out.
Blind well was quick and easy. Like, I went in there and 10 minutes later was like, oh, I'm done with this step. And in the middle of another run, like, oh, I enjoy myself to the point where I kind of blew past it. And I think that is one of the things. That's probably the big thing that I have to give Bungie props for. They took an event that I wasn't really looking forward to, especially once we saw that we were going back to the European aerial zone. And I guess we can talk in a bit about what we'd like to see them do with this event in the future, since I know we said this last year and the year before last year, but there's no way they're bringing the EAZ back again.
No, they are definitely
after
bringing
this,
it back
right?
again next year.
100%.
100%.
We can talk about that in the future, but they did a lot right with this event. I think they knew the mistakes they'd made in the past. The EAZ experience is greatly streamlined now. You get done with it way faster than you used to, and a big reason for that is, of course, like Dan mentioned, the lifts that we have all across the battlefield that make getting to the rooftops way easier than it is in previous years. And of course, the fact that at the end, once you finish your little 5-minute run of killing mini bosses all over the place, you take out the final boss, all the chests that spawn in the end remain on your radar. Meaning you're not spending that entire 2 minutes looking in every nook and cranny because somebody didn't memorize all the spots where those things can pop up. You just run through real quick. All the chests are on your radar. It's easy to get to them. It makes clearing the EAZ so much faster.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what that event needed. Like you said, Dan, if EAZ had launched like this all those years ago, it would have been fantastic. The first Solstice of Heroes event wouldn't have been nearly as bad as it wound up being. So I got to give Bungie props for that with the EAZ. The armor challenges, like I said before, are really easy to get done. I found myself almost done with the magnificent armor set like the first day. Moderate grinding.
Wait, you could get
getting
in the first day?
I saw everybody was getting like what, weaseled?
I was getting weaseled super hard the entire time.
I didn't get booted once.
I got
Like,
a
I ran
cloudberry.
into
I got a cloudberry, something I'd never seen before.
Yeah,
Did it taste good?
Hmm?
What does a cloudberry taste like?
It tastes like schnozberries.
Snozberries taste like snozberries, man.
It's.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good
That's a
answer.
good answer.
I would advise everybody try schnozberries once within a responsible crowd. All right. Anyways.
But yeah, I ran into the whole, connecting to servers thing, but I never got booted out. I was able to play just fine, so I didn't have too much trouble with that. But yeah, I got up to the magnificent armor set in like the first day and thought, oh, well, this wasn't awful. And then, started up on my second character. And once you get some of those boons, those benefits there, you blow through those secondary steps in no time flat. And I'm looking forward to getting my Titan done last in a single day.
Yeah.
Since it's really not going to be too hard. And I appreciate that. I very much appreciate that. And while I 100% there with you, Nim, on the disappointment in the EAZ. It's not an activity I wanted to play. It's one of the reasons why I'm happy you don't have to spend too much time in there.
Yeah.
I want to see them do more with that. I am happy that they've streamlined a lot of these steps and made it much faster to get through. And I don't know what else they would do though. If they were to continue this event moving forward, like I get you don't want to have to go and grind elemental orbs, but what else would they do?
Yeah, no, and that's exactly why it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I got through. I think it was the day before yesterday. I finally landed on the white glows.
Yeah.
And I think all I have to do is just the master nightfall and a raid, and then my warlock's done with it. But there, I can't on another. Like I tried today. Like I hovered my mouse over the Titan and I looked at him, and then it's just bead of sweat running down my cheek. No.
Nope.
Alt
Back to
F4.
Warframe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back to Warframe I went. And it's not that it's like, I agree. They've streamlined the process considerably compared to the previous solstices.
Yeah.
But I'm just done with like these events, and this we all know like Festival of the Lost is haunted forest, and Dawning is going to be baking more cookies. Like I personally have stopped caring about the events just altogether. So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and that's kind of a bigger problem going on with Destiny right now. Whether it's just the usual bit of seasonal burnout, and all that kind of stuff, being compounded by the fact that these are really really familiar events that Bungie has thrown out year after year after year. I felt the same way. I've been spending a lot of time this week playing Elder Scrolls Online, and
I've noticed. I was like, this man, what? What?
I think over the last month I've put like almost another 100 hours into ESO, and it's what I do in my free time. And it's funny because yesterday I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna hop on Destiny. I'm gonna go onto my hunter. I'm gonna start getting the rest of my challenges done so that I can move on to Magnificent on my hunter. I just like you, I launched Destiny. I was at the start screen, and I was like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And to kind of hammer home the point, I backed out of Destiny, went back onto ESO, and went to grinding a single dungeon that I have been farming since Wednesday. I put about 35 runs in because I'm trying to get one specific weapon from that dungeon, and I still haven't gotten it.
Oh no.
Dang.
I went back to doing that.
Over
Playing Solstice of Heroes. So yeah, I definitely I feel you when it comes to that.
And I don't know if it's been because this whole global situation has just kind of like messed with at least my perception of time and a year. But like, I think the week before like Solstice came out, I'm like, oh wait, holy shit, that's already. I feel like I had just completed like last year's event. And then here we are a whole last year later, with the other one just like right on our heels, and I'm like, wow, that just so fast, so fast.
Turns out collective trauma can do a number on you.
Yeah, it's great.
It hurt.
I do want to say that the gear for Solstice this time around is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It's beautiful. I'm glad that it's not just kind of like a different variation of like the starter gear, kind of like how they started doing that for the first two sets.
Yeah.
Where it was just like the base set just slightly different with like golden outer nations, the prime versions for my Warframe players out there of the beginner armor.
Right.
This is an entire different set, totally different, cool, like golden adornations, like Warlocks and Titans have mohawks.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
It's really pretty. They did a really good job with the set this time around.
Yeah, and that's something that I hadn't even thought about till right now. Boy, am I glad they didn't just redux the OG Shattered Armor set.
Yeah,
from the beginning of Destiny 2. I'm glad we got something really unique looking.
And they couldn't really do that because transmog.
Yeah.
Like, had they done that again, it would have been like, all right, another year of like
Yep.
this this armor looks neat. It looks sleek, which I was not
Yeah.
like really anticipating based on previous entries, but I kind of dig it.
It's good. It's a good looking armor set, and thankfully, the Eververse glows were available for 6K bright dust, so I swooped that up with the absolute quickness, and I'm walking around looking like a nightlight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like very
I did the
golden
same
nightlight.
thing once. Once I had like I think 15,000 bright dust just kind of like saved up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that I was able to buy it, I was like, all right, well, that's mine.
There we go.
Yeah, super easy. And like, I will say that, like, overall, like some of the bright dust changes are kind of like better because I'm already building up another like bunch set of like bright
Yeah.
dust. Like, so that's been great. But has anybody used the new shotgun that comes with
No.
Solstice, the Compass Rose, yet?
No.
Nope.
Okay, me neither, because I got the one that you get at the beginning and then sharded it, and then I got another one today and then looked at the rolls and sharded it, and I'm like, wait, I should probably use this first to see if it's if I should like farm for different
you're
rolls
good.
on it.
You're fine.
Okay, good to know. I'll just hold on to my CQC then. That's
Yeah,
been
I was gonna say, if you got the
reliable.
7th Star of CQC or a Found Verdict or any of the other litany of great shotguns that we've got available. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Compass Rose is something that's really going to be fanciful and worthwhile. It's
Yeah.
by far the reward that I've cared about the least for this solstice. I don't even know, like, I think the best roll I have is, this might even be the static one. Is what, Genesis Vorpal? Is that what comes on the base
that's
one?
that's the one that you got.
That's the only roll I kept.
That's why the moment I saw it, I'm like, Genesis Vorpal, what the shit is this? And
Yeah.
immediately just got rid of it. No, I haven't used it yet. Like you're right. I have a really good Reese Walker that I like, and I have a good 7th Seraph CQC shotgun that I like, and those are pretty much my main weapons of choices when it comes to shotties. So I'm not really gonna like super bothered about getting a Compass Rose.
Which actually kind of reminds me of another topic of conversation that we had this week. Speaking of good shotguns, Retold Tale, Framing City,
Yeah.
Moon Weapons. Those got a bit of a revamp this week, and apparently not good.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I've heard about the moon weapons, refurbished moon weapons coming in.
I haven't grinded out any of them, but I've seen the delicious salt of quite a few of our cohorts around the Destiny community about how unhappy they are. So it's just what, they came back and have an awful perk pool.
Yeah, the perk pools are not the same. And there was people that deleted their old versions in hopes of regrinding another one of the same, and you really can't.
Don't have access to those.
Right, exactly. And it's kind of a bummer. But honestly though, like this just goes back to the whole concept of sunsetting. And this is actually kind of a little mini rant that I had on Twitter, where where the original concept of sunsetting, like, just absolutely, and the reprisal of weapons just destroyed my drive to get those weapons again, from the get-go. And this is a horse that has been beaten to death, but just it's frustrating once that content came out in the time period that it came out. You played it, you got the loot that you wanted, you got a sick roll on a shotgun or a sick roll on an Arc Logic or a Loud Lullaby, you keep it, and down the line Bungie's like, all right, well, this has an expiration date, and you can only use it until then. Damn, all right, sure. And then 2 years later, you know what, sunset was a mistake, we're sorry, that's our bad. We're going to be refurbishing some of these weapons in the future, but with different perks. And it's so frustrating because personally speaking, I've already played that content. I don't want to go back on the moon and grind essences again. Like even if it's not super painful, I don't want to like regather ghost fragments and do lost sectors or whatever it takes to get those essences. I don't want to go back to the blind well. It's just stuff that I've done already, and I don't want to anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm tired of it. Even for weapons that like we've already had in the past. It's super frustrating. Like if you enjoy it, right? If you like playing the game like that, more power to you. But I'm just kind of done with that particular concept. It's just not fun to me.
I mean, it was always kind of a tall ask, wasn't it? To arbitrarily take away the guns that you grinded for and that you liked using, and then come back and be like, oh, our bad. Well, we're bringing back those exact same guns. They're going to have access to brand new perks. You can't use your old one, by the way. But not some of these weapons aren't going to have access to the same perks that they used to have. And bringing that back and then saying, hey, yeah, you can go regrind these weapons you already grinded for. It was never gonna leave a good taste in the mouth of players, and that's one of the reasons why. Almost feel like I could do a victory lap now. I didn't like the idea of sunsetting. I don't think it worked in Taken King. The first time they sort of made this decision, I didn't think it would work now, and I think now that we're a few seasons in to Bungie re-releasing stuff like the future Warcold weapons, now the Moon stuff and the Dreaming City stuff, and even more to come in the future, it makes me wonder, well, what was the point of sunsetting that previous gear?
It was even a thing like back in House of Wolves. Because that's when they had reintroduced like the infusion thing, and when like the whole people were cheering because they could use their Fatebringer again and bring it up to its current power.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that's not a thing, because we had that thing in D1 where you can put a consumable on a locked powered weapon and hey, you could use it, but it's not a thing and it makes me mad.
Don't listen. Don't take that off the table. I would not be surprised if, we're going to be learning a bit more about Witch Queen. We'll be talking about this later in the show, starting in late August. Don't be surprised if that etheric light pops up. It's like, all right, and in Witch Queen, for the 5% of you who are smart enough to hold on to your old weapons, here's an etheric light that you can use to bring it up to max level. Yeah. I would not be surprised. No, I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah.
And you know what? Do it. Do it. I don't think there's any reason not to.
Oh my god, I would mauled. I just went on a vault cleaning spree. I think my vault started at like 390 something, and it's right now sitting at like 170.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want them to do it even more now.
Oh, first of all, I did not come here to be attacked like this, okay?
I'm sitting here looking at my vault like 499 out of 500. I refuse. I refuse to go through and delete this stuff.
The only things I've kept, or that I did keep, was like some of the weapons from like Season of the Undying and like my Black Armory, like No Feelings. I also still have like some of the original Escalation Protocol SMGs, where back then where you could trade change the elemental.
Yep.
I have an Arc and I have a Void SMG.
Wow.
Just kind of like as a memento of them days.
How's it feel to be old?
It's great.
Dude, it sucks.
Yeah, I've still got my Ikelos original shotgun. I've still got all of the Warmind weapons.
Yeah.
I've still got my initial inaugural address.
Man,
from year one.
You guys hold on to too much stuff.
I have one too. I have a Void inaugural address.
I'm sorry, Dan. I'm not giving it up.
Look,
I ain't giving it up. It's not happening because that etheric light is coming. I will go to my grave believing it. I need to tell myself these things.
I purged my vault of about 160 blue items on yesterday, and then
blues.
Yeah, all blues.
Explain yourself.
So I use farming mode in Dim.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get blues in your vault.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Oh. Okay, I thought you were like willingly saving them, and I'm like, I need to know the purpose why.
Nope, was not so the blues filter in. I purged them out, and I'm back at 466 in my vault today.
Oh my god.
There we go.
It's-
450
That's
plus
funny,
gang,
dude.
rise up.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go back through and delete all the things that I'm never going to use. Like,
Yeah.
Dim shows me God rolls, and I'm like, but will I use it? And then I just
Right. And
Toss it out.
that's a good chunk of like the things that I got rid of recently. That and
Yeah.
a lot of armor
Mm-hmm.
that just I kept because hey, maybe, not maybe, this has like a lot of intellect or a lot of discipline, and I'm like, you know
Right.
what, I haven't taken this out of the vault in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I think it's safe
It's
to say
done.
to just like get rid of it. Right. And I actually was pretty in dire need of enhancement cores. I think I was down to like 13.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So once I got done with the vault cleanup, I went back up to like 300 cores or something.
my
So it
goodness.
was pretty beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, and when it comes to armor now, once you've got a god roll set, now that we've got, armor customization,
Yes.
you really probably don't need so many duplicate sets unless you really want to have like a max intellect, max discipline, max
Yeah.
strength set separated and all that kind of stuff. So really, the only armor
Right.
that I've kind of got in my vault right now is just high rolled exotic gear.
Mm-hmm.
For when I'm swapping things out, or for the day that I hope Karnsteins or the Winter's Guile become top tier again. I've
I
got
still
some.
have any of those?
Oof.
I do have like one of each, I think.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at my vault right now, and I've got like a God rolled Nezarec, God rolled Astrocyte verse.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
ask me
I had 10 astrocyte verses in my vault, and I was like, okay, all right, that's
Why?
too much. I
Why did
don't
you
know. I don't know. And a couple of them were like masterworked as well, and I was like, all right, no, I gotta get rid of these. They had all had like a different spread of like stats. Like
God.
some were more mobility focused, some were
Yeah.
intellect and strength focused, and I was
Okay.
like, all right, no. And like I more recently got one that was really, really well rolled. And I think it's sitting at like over 100 stat like distribution.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fucking incredible. So I was like, all right, all trash, all of you trash. Yeah, I'm not even gonna like look at the masterwork ones. Just you can go.
In the garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, no.
You are the only other person I know who has Astrocyte verse. It's just you and me. Someday.
Oh, and-
Someday.
yeah, and it's still broken.
Yeah.
It still doesn't work properly.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrating.
Slips under the radar. Like
Yep.
your radar goes away when you blink.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So,
Well,
steering things, I guess, back towards Solstice of Heroes, since that, spawned this sort of conversation here. We've had the event here. Obviously, Nim's got his feelings on it. It's not enough to keep him playing in free time and spare time. What would you like to see in particular, Nim? What would you want to see changed most with this event next year? Let's flash forward to July 2022, and Solstice of Heroes is coming out. What kind of changes would you like to see?
Honestly, man, like I know it's something that's like out of the question. I don't mind like the whole elemental aspect of Solstice, right? Like the collecting orbs and the elemental
That's fine.
empowerment. I think that's a good idea, and that's something that I do enjoy when this event comes around. What I don't super enjoy is just going back and doing some of like the armor-based objectives.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I think the EAZ is a great looking area. It's fun, but it's insanely underused. And I would love to see the EAZ used for like either like an objective based like activity or just something outside of just mini bosses all over the map that you run and kill.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm sorry. I think that just falls under the stagnation that we've fallen in Destiny 2, where like it's a lot of the core activities and a lot of the events are just the same.
Mm-hmm. It's
You know,
throwing balls
there's-
at uprights, like
Yeah.
Aura said.
Yeah, and there's just nothing there. I mean, again, it's a beautiful environment. I mean, oh, they did something with the cat this time around. It's an actual
Yeah.
triumph.
Only took 3 years. It took 3 years, and
That was the first thing. That was the first thing I did. Loaded into the EAZ and I went for the cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was it's just, I don't know, man. It's super stagnant. The game itself has gotten super stagnant. Narrative, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Core activities, stagnant.
Well,
yeah, I think good.
do you think that is do you think that is kind of the hallmark of a live service game, though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the nature of the way live service games work.
Yeah.
They drop a bunch of content that's meant to be repeated ad nauseum. You know,
Mhm.
literally until you get sick of it, and then you're supposed to keep playing that until they come up with the new batch of content that you're
Yeah.
going to play ad nauseum.
You stay on the treadmill and you
Yep,
keep
it's a treadmill.
you keep going. But I think like we keep talking about like what they can do to improve Solstice. I don't know if they need to improve it. I think that it is, in essence, what it has always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is like the EAZ is kind of in its perfected form. The armor sets are not hard to grind. They're
Right.
just kind of like a thing that you can grind.
Right.
And maybe if if this had come like earlier in the season, you would see more people maybe either excited about it or participating in it. But at the end of the day, it's an Eververse dump. It's
Every
event
yeah,
is every event
As
is.
always.
And
yeah, every event.
I
Actually,
don't want them investing any more time and energy into that stuff. I would much rather
Solstice. Actually, I'm actually going to back on my word here.
have.
Solstice of Heroes is actually the least Eververse heavy
Right.
event if you compare it to some of the other ones, because with Solstice you actually play to earn your armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With Festival of
Yeah.
the Lost and the Dawning, that is all Eververse.
Buy it up. Yep.
The activities in game do not net you that armor, and that's that's a whole different topic for another time. But I do think that Solstice of Hero is kind of like the least Eververse focused out of all of the other events, because even Guardian games is like super like Eververse heavy.
Yeah.
Like in Guardian games is something that I think should feel more like Solstice, because it's a competition, and you want you want your players to like feel like they're participating in that event and look it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Again, I can get into that topic a different time, but yeah.
I can concede that. Like, I think that, it is the least Eververse footprint, but at the same time, there is a footprint like that ties into it. And so, like, that's all fine and well. Like, I don't want them really focusing on these types of events, like, in too much of a way. I get that it's a way to keep people engaged when maybe during periods of time in seasons or during the game's life cycle where it's not the most activity driven, but it just, I don't know. I think I have like event fatigue.
Yeah.
And it's like I would much rather like do I'm playing other games right now, much like you guys. I started playing Sea of Thieves. Borderlands is back on the menu, baby, because
New content, baby.
Yeah, well, because there's like the Steam sale happened and all that, and I'm starting to feel more fatigue from playing Destiny. Not because it's a bad game, not because of like any decisions the company is making. It's entirely based on my habits of playing the game. And
But I'm sorry, but I think what's a big contributor to that fatigue that a lot of people are feeling is the seasonal model.
Probably.
Because
might have something to do with it.
Because again, like the seasonal model in its intention is to prevent droughts of the game. So they'll introduce a new narrative and they'll introduce the seasonal activity and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is that if you're consistently playing the game month after month just to keep up with whatever's going on, you're going to get tired of playing the game. You're not it's not a thing that you don't want to play it anymore because you're just fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
But it just starts to feel like you're just trying to keep up with something, and I felt that with the previous season where I couldn't see what happened in Presage because I didn't play the mission every week, and I didn't get all of the scannable, so I never got to see that room firsthand. Now, when you look back at, and I'm sorry, chat and people listening, but I'm again beating a dead horse. If we look back with like the DLC model that we had back in D1, we had Dark Below brought 2 strikes.
Right.
Yep.
Granted, one was a exclusive for PlayStation for about a year, but it brought 2 strikes and 3 PvP maps.
Yes.
House of Wolves, 3 months later, which is the length of a season, brought Trials of Osiris, Prison of Elders, a pretty great repeatable activity because they had the different tiers, had the different tiered loot, and it brought 4 PvP maps, 1 PlayStation exclusive.
Yep.
Then 6 months later, 6 months of just nothing, which personally I believe a break from the game is healthy.
Yeah.
Comes Taken King, and it just drops, the Dreadnought, the 3 new subclasses, a crazy story, a huge one of like the biggest raids in D2, which was King's Fall. 3 strikes and 1 exclusive strike, and not 1 but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 PvP maps.
Yeah.
And then later on, you have Rise of Iron, and that brought 3 strikes and 4 PvP maps.
Yeah.
So you see, the size and content that we had back then is obviously nowhere near the same what we're getting now, because PvP, we've had 4 unique environments come to the game. Not a single one has been seen in Crucible. We haven't had a Crucible map since Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Quite a while ago.
Yeah.
And I think how many strikes we've had? I think 2?
Depends. Do you count the returning ones from the Cosmodrome as being new strikes to the game?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we had there's 1 in Shadowkeep. I think the couple seasons after that didn't have any new strikes. Might have got a new one. Yeah, I don't think we got another new strike until, was it Beyond Light?
And
that's Glassway.
The Glassway.
Yeah, Glassway, and then the Cosmodrome strikes. And then after that, haven't had any new ones since.
So 3 strikes in the last 2 years.
But you also think of, we also have dungeons introduced.
Yeah.
And
raids.
And like we had raids.
So we've had a dungeon a year.
Yeah. And I think I think the story overall is greatly improved with the seasonal model. I understand.
The narrative is great.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that
the loop, the gameplay loop is a bit grinding season over season. And I get that. But
And I think that's where the burnout is coming from.
I don't know if I'd trade it for the times back in Destiny 1 where it's just like, well, there's nothing. There's
months.
nothing for 6 months, and we're not hearing anything from anybody about it. So, like, we're like that. I'm not complaining about so much. I think it's just like personal habit around it. So,
And
I know I personally, again, just a me thing, I would go back to that old format.
yeah.
Because I believe that giving the devs whatever time to do what they need to do to drop something as massive as like Taken King or Forsaken, that, you know, will keep you playing for a long time, and that just gives me time to go play other things.
Yeah.
It's never in my brain is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, to be fair, I'd assume that's basically what Witch Queen is. Witch Queen is supposed to be that next major Beyond Light level expansion that is set to be dropping next year. Which, you know, they as much as things have changed since D1, a lot of things still remain the same. You know, in D1 we had that split between the main Destiny team, which went off to go work on D2, and then the live team, which maintained D1 and then created stuff like Rise of Iron. And we kind of have that situation in D2 right now, where we have the big team off working on stuff like Witch Queen, and then a current team working on the seasonal content that's tied to the current release. And the nature of a seasonal model like this, I think, ultimately creates the situation of burnout that players are experiencing right now. I would agree with that, Nim. When you have a system of content where it's like, okay, so every 3 months we're going to drop some new narrative content, we're going to drop maybe some new activities to play in. If you're lucky, maybe a strike or a story mission or something like that in a dungeon. I think that kind of model, and then, you know, you play that for 3 months before you'll get the next new stuff. I think that sort of model in and of itself, it creates the scenario in which players are going to play the crap out of your content for a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and then be like, okay, well, I don't really need to do anything for this last month because I've burned myself out on the content, and I'll just come back when there's more new content. I think you're right when you say that this model creates that sort of scenario. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because they still played nonstop for a month and a half to 2 months. Whereas in stuff like the Taken King, we played for about a month and a half to 2 months, and then had 6 months of nothing. I honestly don't see there is. I don't.
You had a really hard time getting a raid team together.
Yeah, a real hard time, man. Sweaty hotel Wi-Fi LFG was a bad time. Let me tell you. So like when people talk about, oh, I'm so burnt out on Destiny, you know, I've just gone so hard in this new season, I need some time off. I just sit back and look and say, good.
Yeah.
Why are you announcing this?
No, yeah.
You played a game nonstop for a month and a half or 2 months. What are you doing? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not playing Destiny in my free time. I burned through the content in the first 2 months, and now I'm off playing ESO. I jumped back into Outriders the other day to go test that new stuff. And I just don't necessarily look at that as being a bad thing, because there's never been this expectation that you have to play Destiny all the time. I don't think Bungie had that expectation with their seasonal model, with the seasonal model that they're running right now. I think they're expecting people to jump in. They're trying to provide enough content for you to play throughout a 3-month period. I think that's why they space out, you know, their story missions. They time gate a lot of their content. They time gate their missions and whatnot. And then, you know, towards the end of the season, they try to drop an event or something like Solstice of Heroes to get you to come back playing. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't look at it as a bad thing at all that people are playing the game saying, okay, I've exhausted everything that I care about in this season. I played through the story missions. I got my light up and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I did a Grandmaster Nightfall or two. I'm gonna go play something else for this last month. There ain't nothing for me to do on Destiny. I personally don't view that as a negative thing. I view it as a great thing. It's been fantastic not playing Destiny and going off and running through the realms of Tamriel and banging my head on a single stupid arena that will not give me that maelstrom though.
Yeah. And I think like my bit where it's just like personal habit is like I'm speaking from a point of like I do service streams, right? And so like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you're not playing it for yourself. And like you're I'm basically there as a conduit of help. And so, you know,
See, that sounds exhausting.
it is.
It is.
It is.
God.
But at the same time, it's rewarding and fun. Like when we had a kid a couple weeks ago who got Vex on his first go ever
Cool.
of Destiny because he started 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks prior. And so he got it, and my soul died a little bit. But like at the end of the day, I'm happy for him. You know,
It's like one of those pictures. What type of migraine it is? It's just all over the head. The entire head. Where's the pressure? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
This kid got a Vex on his first try at his first raid after playing the game for 4 weeks.
Yeah, and he was like this sweet little British kid, and he's like, "Oh wow, this is fun." I was like, "Yeah, it's like raids are generally pretty fun." He goes, "I was with a guy, and he wasn't quite as nice." And it was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. We try not to be jerks here."
It was me. I was the not nice guy.
Oh, so you teed me up, sweet.
You limey bastard.
But no, it was a really fun time, and like my personal thing is like, yeah, I'm a little tired, so I'm playing like Sea of Thieves and like other stuff, but I also think like the live service game is meant to keep you there, is meant to keep you coming back, and
Yeah.
the season model definitely does that. I think I personally can probably learn to like, okay, I can go hard for maybe 8 weeks and then peel back a little bit. Or like,
exactly.
you know, like go
Yeah.
hard for 6 and
see that's kind of what I started doing a little bit more as some of the newer seasons have been progressing more and more. Is just going slower, honestly, because I don't think I've ever fully upgraded like one of the like the seasonal things, for example, like the lures or like the war table, stuff like that. I've never completed any of that.
See, I did that in the gauntlet real hard.
No, I can't do that. I cannot play the same activity like override over and over and over. And see that right, like and that's where like this seasonal loop just like burns me the crap out. Because I get to a point now where the only thing, and not now, but like during each season, where my sole interest of logging on that reset that Tuesday is to see how the story's panning out, because they've been doing a fucking kick-ass job with the narrative.
Yeah.
And like once I do whatever, even if it's fucking over, like the story has been so good that even if I have to do an override and an expunge just for some dialogue, like I'll do it, but just for that. just for that. And then I'm like, all right, Warframe, where you at, baby?
Yeah. No, big same. I'll log in on Tuesday and like, okay, do we have a new story mission? If so, yeah, I'm gonna run through it, I'm gonna play it, and then I'm gonna get off. Go play something else. Because I've already gotten to season rank 100. I've already cleared out all the triumphs that I care about. Thanks for the bright dust, by the way, Bungie. And generally the only time I'm really hardcore playing Destiny is when I'm working on a video or live streaming. It's just for the purposes of that. And then I'm off and playing something else that I want to play, because I don't necessarily want to play Destiny 24/7, and I think that's okay. So that's fine. So that's my point. I completely agree with the notion that the seasonal content is what is causing a lot of the burnout, because it does incentivize you to jump in and play as much of these things that Bungie has available to you as possible. You know, they even give you a list over 10 weeks of some of the stuff to jump into and play. And it's almost like they're giving you a checklist of things to knock off, to come back day after day after day and week after week after week to do. And that does create burnout. We were talking, when we were playing the other day, Nim, you were talking about how much you detest having to jump into override. You don't like having to go in there time after time after time. And I agree, it can be really, really boring. But
that falls under any of the latest like seasonal activities, right?
Yeah.
Like for the first couple of times, it's great, it's fun, but for example, like if you take a look at some of like the seasonal challenges, like
Yes.
get 50 sidearm kills in override.
I wish it was 50. It's like get 500 auto rifle kills, get 500 pulse
oh
rifle
yeah,
kills.
it's
like,
worse. Yeah,
no,
no,
don't do that.
Yeah, like those seasonal challenges, like I don't ever look at them unless I'm checking the box to complete the ones that I get by just like playing passively.
That's actually something I think Bungie could probably streamline better, because I like the way they do their seasonal triumphs now. I think it's a good way to kind of list out what people can do over the course of the season, and it's definitely rewarding in terms of Bright Dust and EXP. But if you want to take some of those challenges down, that didn't need to be like 500 auto rifle kills in override.
Yeah.
Maybe make it 200.
Lucky for them, Chroma Rush is so goddamn good.
Yeah, Chroma Rush saved me this season, because like I was losing my mind in there until I got a decent one of those. But yeah, the seasonal content.
Okay.
Grid Skippers, and you know what? Now that they've nerfed some things in PvP, Grid Skipper, it's gonna be the next on the list. It's gonna be the next thing people are complaining about. I was getting beamed by that pulse. It's good. It's real good.
Real quick, because I know I've kind of been shitting on the game like the entire podcast.
What, you?
I know, never. One of the things that I genuinely do like what they did for the season is the corrupt expunges giving you that extra chest with like an additional perk option for the weapons. That yes.
Double thumbs up.
Yeah. It's great because like, you kind of get a taste of the weapons by getting them through override, but then you have a different tier, which is accessible, even though like, you have to get like the corrupted keys, but I've never had a problem with like those dropping.
Right.
And then you go run a corrupted expunge for like a chance at, whatever, with an extra additional perk slot. I think that was fucking great, because I've done. Like I've even hit you up, TBL, like, yo, you want to do a corrupt expunge real quick for, because I got a Grid Skipper the other day that has tunnel vision and either frenzy or multi-kill clip with a stability masterwork. It's kind of hot.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's kind of hot, and I love it. So things like that, yes, I love that. Love that to bits.
Yeah, that I think is, and that's something that kind of started with the Prismatic Recaster back right before Beyond Light came out, where, if you fully upgraded that thing, you could start grinding out weapons and whatnot that had that extra perk slot at the end that you could choose from. And I think this was a perfect way to implement it. You introduce the expunge missions, and then later on in the season, you get the corrupted expunge missions with this alternative reward structure that can give you a better version of some of the guns that you've got. It was a great way to get me to run expunge Tartarus again, which, by the way, I think that's the Tartarus is what the Europa one, where you can just skip through all the you can just skip all the walls.
What that reminds me of, TPO?
What's that?
You remember a little something D1 called skeleton keys?
Oh, what did those do, Nim?
See, those rewarded you with unique items at the end of a strike.
Yes, sir.
It's almost as if that formula worked.
Why don't they do that?
I don't know.
Where are the skeleton keys at the end of Nightfall strikes? Or a chest that you can open with like a skeleton key, or one of these key fragment things. Why isn't that? Why isn't that a thing yet?
Speaking of Nightfalls, let's divert real quick into like something like a Grandmaster or a Legend or Master Nightfall, whatever.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why is it that for like a Grandmaster Nightfall, you are not guaranteed the Adept weapon?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
so that they can do double loot weeks like this.
But even then, it's still not guaranteed, because you can probably get like 3 exotics and a shard.
Yeah.
And not
2
get
times
an
0 is 0, baby.
Yeah.
I've seen, because a Grandmaster Nightfall is probably harder than a raid in terms of like how hard things hit you.
Well, it depends on the raid.
In terms of like how hard.
If you're running the Master Vogue, I've had some friends who have barely made it through the opening gate because they're like level
But you can over level for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
probably
I
why
don't
they
think-
kept you from doing 50 levels.
Yeah,
this
I don't think you
season.
can over level in a Grandmaster, can you?
No, because they have
Okay.
that like 15 plus limit.
They're always
It's almost
above
like
you.
a contest
Yeah.
mode Nightfall.
Yeah.
Right. For something that has a pretty high like difficulty bar to not get the adept version of whatever is dropping from that is just kind of cheeks, man.
Feels bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know why that's a thing.
So speaking on that, like you guys haven't attempted a Master Knight or Vault of Glass yet, right?
No.
I haven't either.
No.
What is your desire to do so?
Oh, there
None.
it isn't.
Yeah, none.
I mean, I like time lost gear. It's pretty,
Mm-hmm.
but I've already got my explosive payload Firefly Fatebringer. Thank you.
Dang.
Yeah.
I don't need
The
another
fact that Master Vogue has a locked drop of a weapon for that particular week. Ugh, bad.
Well, that was
the fact that
wasn't
what?
that like Triumph, like the Age of Triumph model?
Yes, it was. There was a curated roll that could drop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
but
that
I think
that's
in
the point.
Age of Triumph, those were exotic versions of those
Mhm.
weapons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Reward is like the name of the game for me to like. If I'm gonna put myself through like a hard activity, I want it to feel rewarding, and like locking loot. What's the thing with Master that like if you run regular Vault of Glass and then you run a Master, you're like locked out of the reward for that encounter?
You'll only get the regular drop,
Yeah.
which is cheeks. That is butt cheeks.
I don't what why is that a thing?
That should
So-
not be a thing.
And the time lost is like one time lost drop of whatever is dropping that week. Correct?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, but you can purchase it again
From the
at the
desk.
end from the chest for like
at a
25.
higher cost. Correct?
It's like 25 instead of 20.
Okay. I still don't like the fact that it's like a single drop
Mhm.
of whatever's dropping that week.
Yeah. And
Because
no, I get it. It's not supposed to be better than the normal Fatebringer. It's supposed to be that sort of flex trophy
Yeah.
that you have as a player. This is meant to be something that players at the very top end of the spectrum are challenging themselves to get so that they can equip their time lost Fatebringer and be like, ha, I got this. Sort of like people
Yeah.
who gild, their titles and whatnot.
Mhm.
But that's not enough of a lure to drag me into a master Vault of
you
Glass.
know,
Not right.
you know what would have brought me and or incentivized me to run a Master Vogue?
Oil?
I forgot about foil. Now I'm mad about that too. Thanks, TBL. The
Here for you.
the Age of Triumph Vogue armor.
Yes. Yes.
I do like that they have targeted armor pieces though per week.
I don't know.
Like so it's stat targeted in Master.
Yeah, I think that's the way it works.
Yeah. I like that. But no, yeah, I like that. I like your idea better, Nim.
Oh man, they just tied just an ornament set. Like in addition to
right.
the time lost gear, you could unlock this additional ornament set that's like just the ultimate flex that you
Exactly.
beat the hardest raid content in the game. That would have been beautiful.
Right, that would be my incentive to be like, all right, shit, I got to get my power level up because I don't want to get clapped by a hobgoblin from like a mile
Yeah.
away, and I
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
want that armor. But a weapon, nah, I'm good.
I mean, I
I'm
like
good with
shooting
everything.
things.
And a
But
weapon
like
that's
yeah.
yeah. Is the are the time lost versions even statistically different from the regular versions?
Aren't they just like kind of adept versions?
Yeah, I
They
think
have an
they're
extra
just-
perk.
Right. There we go. It's that potential extra perk, which is
Yeah.
nice, but not enough to put me through the headache of getting it.
Right.
ornament
Right.
sets absolutely would have been. And maybe that's a bit of feedback that should be given to Bungie. They're obviously looking to do this sort of enhanced difficulty version of their raids with other raids. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Deepstone Crypt master version sometime in the future. And even if they bring back some of the other raids like Leviathan and whatnot, if we were to see something similar for those. So that might be a bit of feedback that we should be giving Bungie. Like, time lost weapons, that's fine. You can leave that in there as a reward. Add ornaments. Your character should look something fierce for going through a master raid.
Well, and so this question came up today, was they were like, do you think that they'll master any of the other raids that we have?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
So I've been thinking about it more and more. And knowing that the next season is going to be super long, going into Witch Queen, and thinking as somebody who makes content. When they announced that you were only going to be grinding out 10 levels, everybody was like, yay, yay, because like that takes less stress on the player.
Yeah.
And allows you to get into in-game content sooner. And then they put the Vault of Glass Master at 1350, right? Which is just out of the grasp of many players who maybe weren't planning for that, right? Who maybe we were looking at it as hopefully being some sort of like what is it called when they launch it? The competitive or when they launch the raid.
Contest?
Yeah.
Contest?
Like putting some sort of contest mode on it instead of maybe added level difficulty, right? A lot of people were talking about that and hoping for it. But they raised up the 1350, and I can't help but think that they did that so that they could stretch Master over the next 6 months or whatever that we're going to have it, because there's not going to be that much in the back end of next season.
Yeah, maybe.
So, and we're going to find out more stuff on August 24th when they announce all the things that are coming soon. But I would seriously be surprised if they announce like a Master DSC. I think this is like their test of bringing in like a master version of a raid again after the prestige raids kind of like went belly flop. So I don't know. I don't know if you'll see a master DSC. Maybe you'll see a master of whatever the Witch Queen raid is, but
yeah.
I
mean, you're 100% right. We've got a very long season coming up. And we'll be again learning about it. I guess as we end the show here, we can finally get to talking about the Witch Queen spoiler and all that kind of stuff that Bungie put out. But they've got to elongate that content with something, which should probably be putting Nim in a cold sweat, since we spent a good amount of time earlier in the show talking about how the 3-month content stretch really kind of drains players. How is this? Because this is going to be, well, we don't know exactly when Witch Queen is launching, right?
Right.
We just
sometimes fairly like spring, most likely.
Like
probably
April, May-ish.
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
Be quite a long time between the start of season 15 and the launch of the Witch Queen. So, they're going to have to put something in there to entice players to stick around for that period of time.
It'll be nostalgia for D1's launch schedule again.
Oh boy. So you're going to get your wish, Nim.
Not entirely, because keep in mind that they've mentioned that for the future releases, Witch Queen and Nightfall are going to be beyond light sized. So
yeah.
Just saying,
we're gonna have to see. They're gonna have to do something. But thankfully, that's a perfect segue, expertly done, Dan, into the last bit of news we really had to talk before we close out the show. And that's that we're going to be getting a Destiny 2 showcase, I think they described it as, on August 24th to talk about the future of Destiny 2. Everybody's taking that as, of course, meaning the next big expansion, the Witch Queen, which is slated to drop early next year. What are you guys thinking we're going to be seeing next month?
A trailer.
Yeah.
You think it's just going to be a trailer and that's it?
No,
That'd be
I
so
don't know.
funny. But here's a 2-minute trailer. There you go, suckers.
Yeah.
No, they're probably gonna go into like they'll probably like release a Vidoc talking about
Yeah,
like if
that's what I
whether
think.
Yeah.
they're gonna be retuning the light subclasses or
Yeah.
whatever they're gonna. 'Cause I don't, they said that stasis is not done yet, and
Yeah.
whatever whatever else they're gonna do to stasis, and they might potentially start the hints at the if there's gonna be another darkness subclass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably right on the money. It'll probably be a Vidoc, just like we got before Beyond Light came out,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
they talked about a lot of stuff. They'll probably have another little community event where maybe they invite Dado back out to ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
And they'll give us the skivvy on not only season 15, and what they're going to be doing, hopefully, to keep players interested over that long wait between then and the Witch Queen. But we'll be getting a look at the Witch Queen itself as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that's the safest bet.
Yeah. I think it would be really. So that's the launch of the next season too. So August 24th is the same day as the launch of the next season. I would hope. Like the last time that we had something like this was, I'd say a little bit before, like it was around June of last year when Beyond Light was announced. And on that same day, they launched like a prophecy dungeon. They're like, hey, and there's also this thing that is free to everybody that you can play right now. Like something
Season
along
of
those.
Arrivals was so good.
Say what?
It's good.
Season of Arrivals was so good.
Yeah.
It was good.
And like something along those lines. I would kind of hope that they would do something close to Season of the Arrivals with, and I'm going to go out on a limb here just because we've seen how this has gone with past content. Next season will probably end up being a swan song for the Dreaming City. And so we'll probably end up seeing something with the Last Wish raid and like increased drops or something on 1K voices.
Get it now before it goes to a kiosk.
Yeah. Like
I can see that.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if that becomes a thing to do later on in the season. Maybe like increased drop rates, just like they did with Scourge of the Past and everything else. So,
I think that's a pretty good guess. Narratively speaking, we know Mara is supposed to be coming back. Mara Sov is supposed to be popping back up sometime soon. Of course, all the things going on with Savathun right now, that's directly tied in there with the heart of the Dreaming City and the curse going on there. So yeah, I think that's a rather strong thesis you got there, man.
Why, thank you. I've been staying up all night thinking about it for weeks.
Fucking guy.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that was it at all. I think that's probably the most likely thing to happen.
And I'm just thinking that based on like in the past they've talked about like they have to get rid of things in order for new things to come. Forsaken would be the next thing that's up on the chopping block.
Well, Tangled Shore could probably get.
Probably. Give me a way to purchase Glimmer somewhere else then.
Yeah. Give Spider a ship.
Yeah.
I honestly would not mind seeing Nessus go away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird that of all the 1.0 planets that stayed, it was weird that was there. Or, 1.0 planets that got taken. It was Nessus that stayed since nothing narratively significant has happened there aside from maybe Battlegrounds.
Well, Battlegrounds and you have the new strike. The new strike is on Nessus.
I consider that to be a part of Battlegrounds.
Gotcha.
That's a part of that whole storyline. But like nothing's happened with Failsafe. There's been no real follow up there or anything like that. So I always thought it was kind of odd that Nessus is gone or Nessus is still there. Like Leviathan is gone. It's a little weird. But yeah, I think looking forward to the 24th of next month to see what's going to be going on. It's a little weird that they're going to be launching this showcase and probably a Vidoc the same day as their new season. It's, at least from a content creator perspective, that's going to be really frustrating because we're going to have to balance all that. And I know what they're going to do. They're going to launch the Vidoc early in the morning, like an hour before reset, so that you can rush and get all that in before you jump into season 15.
Like they did last time.
And I'm not going to have any time to do anything. Oh, great.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic.
I'm so sorry for your voice, TBL.
Every time.
It's going to be a long day.
It's suffering.
Yeah.
Every time. But all right, I think that pretty much covers the biggest bits of news we had this week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mostly Solstice of Heroes and all that kind of stuff. I think in lieu of audience questions this week, I have, I think, one pertinent question for everybody here on the show.
Okay.
And that is, what is it you've been playing other than Destiny? What have you been enjoying yourself in? What have you guys been up to?
Dan, you go first.
Okay. Like I said, I've been playing some Sea of Thieves with some buds and some Borderlands 3. I've been doing community management for Bearded Legion and current meta, trying to make like the Discord a better place, like ecosystem for people to participate in and to find activity and to find success in activities in. And so I've been focusing on that. Borderlands, I started a Moze, which is the first time that I've played as Moze. I started that last night, and I fell in love with the tiny version of the bear from the director's cut, and now I just want to use that everywhere. I call him Bear Bear. He goes around and murks stuff with rail guns, and it's real neat. Sea of Thieves is a game that I see as like, it is the ultimate sandbox game that flattens the skill level for everyone, and is the ultimate like skill ceiling game. Everybody has the same set of rules and same skills, so no one really has an advantage over anybody else. And so that's been
all
fun.
A skill thing, huh?
Yeah, it's just like you're gonna go like your only skill is like how long you don't die to stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's been fun. I did purchase Griftlands, which is probably the newest game that I purchased. And that is a conversational deck builder game where and it's a roguelite conversational deck builder game where you have sets of cards that you use in conversation and kind of like take on each other's wills on things. It's pretty cool. Instead of health, you have like I think it's stamina for the conversation, like how long you can stomach it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's I'm looking forward to that, but mainly Borderlands 3 and Sea of Thieves right now.
Sea of Thieves. And so of course Sea of Thieves just had that big E3 showing, probably one of the few really, really good things to come out of E3 this year, where they've got that Pirates of the Caribbean tie-in coming in. That's dropping later this year?
That is now.
It's out now?
It is out now. You can play it. I have not played it yet because despite my love for Sea of Thieves, I do not like the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay. So you're avoiding Captain Jack Sparrow.
So here's the thing, guys. I have unpopular opinions about media that people love. And one of the things is I could give a shit about Captain Jack Sparrow. Really don't care. Also, the Lord of the Rings movies put me to sleep. So there's that too. Might as well burn both bridges while we're at it.
This might be salvageable. Which Lord of the Rings movie put you to sleep?
Just all of them. Just every single one. I had a roommate back when I was in band houses, and he insisted on showing the director's cut of the Lord of the Rings movies every year.
Your problem.
And he would show them in a day. And I was like, there's not enough hours in the day for this. And he said, yes, there is. And then I proceeded to nap from the time they left the Shire all the way to the end. I didn't even see the end of the movies at
Oh,
that point
no.
because I was that sweepy from that nonsense.
Fun
Yeah,
fact.
okay. Well, there. See
That's
that's understandable. That's not heretical at all. And it's because you were dragged into the director's cut. I could not imagine a worse fate to bring someone in to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
It
That's
wasn't
like
even
27 hours.
It wasn't the first time that I ever watched the movies either, right? But
That's
that soured me so hard.
I wouldn't do that to anybody. I wouldn't bring anybody. Hey man, you want to come over and watch a movie? Yeah, sure. What are we watching? The director's cut of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that to anybody.
No, thank you.
No. Oh gosh. I'm sorry.
that was actually how I first experienced the Lord of the Rings movies.
Nim,
Like,
I am so
literally,
sorry. Who hurt you?
An ex-girlfriend. That was literally that's in that same experience, Dan. So I was in Scotland, and it was the second to last day that we were there, and we basically had no plans. So it was just because had already done like all of the touristy things, and we had gone everywhere. So it's like, all right, what do we do?
Yeah.
So
It's the second to last day.
she suggested to watch Lord of the Rings because at that point I had never seen any of them, and I've never seen Harry Potter either. So we started the first movie. It was all of the director's cuts. We started the first movie at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no.
Until like 1 o'clock in the morning. Went through all three of them. Director's cut through and through. I enjoyed them. There were boring parts to some here and there, but we like went out and like got food in between, and but that was my first experience with Lord of the Rings. It was with the director's cuts.
So here's the thing. I have two things towards your comment. Your story reminds me of the time where I dated this girl and she wanted to show me the Tom Petty documentary. Like that's like 4 parts and each part is like 2 hours long.
No.
I sat through that, and then she later made me pay for a ticket that she purchased because she thought I was going to go to a show when really I was going to go to see Tom Waits in Columbus, and that entire thing fell through.
Suffering.
The second part of that was, dude, I'm very worried. So Peter Jackson is putting out a Beatles documentary on Disney Plus around Thanksgiving. I'm very worried it's going to be 20 hours, and I don't want to hate the Beatles.
Too late.
At the end of it. I don't want to hate the Beatles at the end of it. I know I'm going to hate the Beatles at the end of it.
It's too bad.
Oh no.
If you watch it, it's over. So yeah, no Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings for Dan. Understood.
Yes.
What about you, Nim? What have you been playing?
Well, just jumped back into Warframe after a couple of months of not playing it because they recently introduced like one of their bigger updates.
Yes.
So I've been playing a little bit of that lately. I've also been playing a game that was introduced to me by a friend called Dead by Daylight.
Yes.
If you're unfamiliar with it, it is a asymmetrical PvP game, 4v1, 4 survivors, 1 killer. And the objective of the survivors is to escape from the map by restarting 5 engines that are scattered around the area. And the killer's pure thing is kill the survivors.
Kill them all.
I've been really sinking some time like into that game. I think right now just shy under of 100 hours into that one. It's really good, man. They have a lot of unique killers in that game, but they also have some really cool licensed killers from other stuff. So they have Freddy Krueger, they have Michael Myers, they have Ghostface from Scream.
Yep.
The latest edition has so far been my most favorite edition, and that was the Stars. That is the Resident Evil chapter where they introduced Jill Valentine and Leon Kennedy as the survivors and Nemesis as the killer. And I have been having a lot of fun with that one. It's really cool. So, like for Jill Valentine and Leon, they also gave them alternate skins. For Leon turns into Chris Redfield, and Jill turns into Claire. So if you have 4 survivors running each, you can basically have like the OG like Resident Evil cast versus Nemesis. It's really fucking cool, man. So like if you're playing as Nemesis and there's a Jill, for example, one of the things that survivors can do is hide in a locker that's scattered, they're scattered randomly throughout the map. If you find a Jill in a locker and when you pull her out of there, Nemesis will yell out stars, and it's amazing. It's great. Kind of creamed a little when I first heard it, but I've been having a blast with Dead by Daylight. It's been super fun. Alternatively, the other thing that I have been playing, I jumped back into this with Sentinel Grey, was Remnant from the Ashes.
That's good stuff, man. Warframe it's funny. It is one of my in-between games. Like when I'm in between a Final Fantasy 14 expansion and a Destiny content release, it used to be Warframe that I would jump into for that month or two, the in-between content drops there. So I definitely feel you on that. Dead by Daylight has been one of my favorite games to watch for a while, since it releases like an early access game a couple years ago. My little brother, Jordan, actually loves Dead by Daylight and has been playing it since it initially came out, and so he was super psyched. He was just as psyched as you to learn about the Resident Evil collaboration, and it really makes me happy to see all the different horror franchises that they're being able to partner up with, because it's a perfect game for that. I was always really interested in asymmetric multiplayer games. I always find it really fun to watch. There was that one, I can't remember the name of it, but one AAA asymmetric game that came out like 6 or 7 years ago, did not last long. And I thought that was going to kill the genre.
Evolve.
That was it. Yeah.
Like I was about that one too, dude. I was so invested into Evolve. Yeah.
The game was fun.
It was so good.
And everybody stopped playing it after like 2 months. It made me sad.
Sad about that one. I'm a big fan of those, dude. Like Evolve, Predator, Hunting Grounds was also like really fun, but that's another one that just it's not doing so hot.
Yeah.
I've spent literally 20 to 30 minutes in queue waiting to find a match to play that game, and it kills me because they did so good with the Predator movement. But yeah,
and so like I'm just so happy because after Evolve, I thought, okay, well this genre, which is really interesting and underserved, is just gonna go away. And so I'm really happy that games like Dead by Daylight are thriving. Thriving right now because it's a really cool genre of game.
There's a game that's coming up. It's a 4-person PvE co-op game that is set in the Alien universe. I want to say it comes out in August. I think it's called Alien Fire Team or something like that. I'm interested in that one.
Those Alien games scare me, man. The Colonial Marines left a bad.
Randy Pitchford has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, but the Isolation was okay, but I don't know.
Isolation was pretty good. Pretty good. Colonial Marines. Whoo! There's a video game development documentary. I love TV. Oh, Mr. Pitchford. But yeah. Isolation was pretty good. Until you learn how to kill things.
Yeah.
Then it's not scary anymore. That's all horror games. That's all horror games. When you get it far enough in, nothing's scary and you can kill everything. So
yeah. What about you? Aside from ESO, what have you been up to?
It's really just mostly been ESO. I've been bitten by that bug pretty hard over the last month or two. Like I said towards the start of the show, in the last month I put I think around 100 hours into it. It's it's been quite a lot of time, and at least 35 of the last 40 hours that I've put in over the last couple of days has been in one specific dungeon, farming one specific weapon that the game refuses to give to me. And every day I just keep going right on back into it. I've ESO is just it's a Elder Scrolls Online is just a special type of MMO. It's very, very solo player friendly. If
Is it really?
It really is, yeah, yeah. You can go through the entirety of the game playing solo and not having to party up with anybody, even all the way up through the end game there. Because it's very much like an Elder Scrolls game, like just like you're playing Skyrim, but there are a bunch of other people around you, all doing their own sort of thing.
That's
And
pretty cool.
I like that. I like that. I'm not gonna lie. To a lot of people, there's a reason I don't live stream it. And it's because it would be the most boring thing in the world. Because there's a lot of lore, there's a lot of narrative, a lot of lore. The entire game is voice acted.
Holy shit.
There's thousands upon thousands of hours of content and story and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a big nerd when it comes to that. I love Elder Scrolls lore. And so I initially jumped into ESO, played through main campaign, went through all the alliances. Because when you start the game, you basically, there are 3 different alliances you can choose to join. That all have their own major campaign. That once you beat one, you can go on and play the next one, and go on and play the next one. And it accounts to it adds up to over 2,000 hours of voiced dialogue and story and whatnot. And so I love that kind of stuff, but I think it'd be the most boring thing in the world to stream for people. I'd be putting y'all to sleep while I'm sitting there listening to lore and mining lands in the Ebonheart Pact. But it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play. I'm currently running a Stamina Templar, but I've been farming up a build that, if I could get this last drop, I'd be able to jump over into a basically a magical-based Templar. And I'm enjoying it, though. I'm having a lot of fun back on ESO, and it's basically what's been keeping me busy while we wait for Season 15 of Destiny 2, and more importantly for me, Endwalker for Final Fantasy 14, another MMO that I have been head over heels in love with since it dropped many, many years ago. We've got the next big expansion getting ready to drop for that. I think in a month, maybe 2 months. So that's coming up soon. And ESO is holding.
I was gonna say, I was like, I'm sure you're just waiting for the next Final Fantasy chunk of content.
Yeah.
Because when you're not on Destiny, I've known you to be on Final Fantasy, so that's why I was like, wait a minute, ESO, what the fuck?
Yeah, just because I was looking for a good Elder Scrolls solo MMO kind of experience, and ESO provides that. It's very accessible for people who are out there and maybe don't want to have to party up for absolutely everything they're doing in an MMO, that's kind of something that's unique to ESO. It's pretty much the only MMO out there that I can think of, besides maybe Phantasy Star Online 2, where you can feasibly do the entire, just every bit of content in there, just about every bit of content solo. I love that.
Right,
that's a big thing I'm a fan of. So that's what I've been playing. It's probably what I'm going to go play after we finish this show here, and see if I can get that darn Maelstrom bow. Maybe run number 40 will do it.
Maybe.
Maybe. But all right, I think that's pretty much a show, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'd say that's a great show.
Yeah, I think we did a good job talking about the good old Solstice of Heroes and what we expect from events like that, and from the seasonal model moving forward. I think it's been a pretty good conversation. So, thank you all so much for listening to episode 284 of the Planet Destiny podcast. This one has been a lot of fun. It was great to have everybody back here after a couple weeks off. I hope everybody was well rested and ready to dive on in. You guys really knocked it out of the park. Man, it was great to see you, man.
After 3 weeks, there was something to talk about, so I figured I'd make the effort.
That's it. There you go. Maybe we should take these 2 to 3 week hiatuses more often. And we can come back and blow things out with the quickness. I like it. Yeah. I like it a lot. But all right, before we get on out of here, of course, we do like to let you guys know where you can find us all across the internet, starting with the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Dan Finity. Where you at, buddy?
Oh, hi! You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok at Danfinity, where the eyes are L's. You can also find me on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/Danfinity, doing Stuff. I'm just doing stuff all the time now. I'm the top of the lead of the directory in the stuff category. I'm also producing several podcasts, Beardo and Marvel Topics with D Flawless. We have the end of Loki coming up soon, and on Beardo I have. Let me tell you my next four guests. I got Tony, Ill Physics. I got Glad.
Ooh.
I got Wolf and Chroma Raven.
Ooh.
I'm very excited, guys.
Can you ask them to come back on this show?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're done,
Absolutely.
so we can get Dan's sloppy seconds in terms of interviews.
Yeah, that sounds
I'll
good to
take
me.
it.
Yeah,
Hand it over. It's delicious. By the way, I haven't watched any of Loki yet. Like, I
Oh,
don't know
dude,
why.
you gotta. It's really good.
I've heard it's good.
of all of the Marvel shows, it is the best. Simply,
Okay, I like that.
the best.
I like that. I've got to get caught up on that because I'm like, what, 5 episodes behind?
Yeah, episode 6 comes out this week. It has been the only Marvel show that has left me caring about what happens next each episode.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's really good.
I think they've all done that for me.
Really?
Like
All of them?
I loved all of them. I loved WandaVision so much.
Okay.
And I think Captain America. Well, he's Captain America now, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier had really good character development over the season.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
That it was there. So that also was like, all right, I'm super fucking stoked for the next episode. Also, John Walker played the actor for that played it really well. Where I fucking hated his guts.
Oh, you mean Kurt Russell's son?
Yeah.
Is he Kurt Russell's son?
Yeah.
Really?
And he's a really rad actor.
Wow. I didn't know that was Kurt Russell's son at all.
Look at I forget what his name is. Look at him compared to a picture of Kurt Russell from like what's the changing my brain is so fried today. It's the one where there's the changing monster.
Oh,
there's
The Thing.
Yeah, the thing. The Thing. I should have said the thing. Oh, the thing.
It's The Thing.
Yeah. Pictures of them up next to one another, you'll see it instantly.
Maybe I'm going to light up a picture of him, Goldie Hawn, and then that guy, and then see if I can mix all that together.
Yeah. But Loki has been really fucking good too. Like, it's definitely one of the more interesting of the Marvel shows.
I liked WandaVision. Like, I stopped caring about its conceit for a while there, just because it's just week over week. It's nothing but the decades.
It could have been shorter.
Could have been shorter. They could have done. Yeah. I liked Captain America and the Winter Soldier, but mainly for the reveal of Captain America.
Yeah.
At the end, like that was kind of like the big thing that I liked about it. That and the story of Bradley.
Yes.
Yeah, bringing him into the MCU, I feel like that's really important for just everything that's going on.
Everything.
And like, but I think Loki has that special sauce that maybe Lost had. Like,
really?
Yeah, where it's just like, oh wow, where are they going to take this next week?
Got to see the next
just
one.
Don't know.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Loki definitely had the more possibilities of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard it's fascinating. I'm gonna have to really set some time aside to start watching it and getting caught up on it. But make sure you go tune into Dan's podcast. He talks about all these shows.
Yeah,
they go over this stuff. Go listen to this man. He's got that good stuff there. What about you, Nim? Where are you?
Honestly, at this point, just find me on Twitter. if I stream, that's where you'll find it. Just twitter.com/nemplays. I haven't been super active on Twitch, so yeah.
Right on. We look forward to the return. Maybe you should, when you get some free time, maybe stream some Warframe so we can watch you grind for a Prime suit over and over.
See, streaming Warframe is something else because like only if you play the game, you know what's going on. But as a random viewer that comes in and starts watching like someone play Warframe, you have absolutely no fucking
What's
idea what's
you
going on.
you either don't know what's going on or you know way more than the person who's playing it. As somebody who has streamed it on
Yes.
Twitch, and
There's no middle
Yes.
ground.
and they're
Absolutely.
Nothing or everything.
yeah, and they're just like, you're doing it fucking wrong. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, you need to stop. I'm done playing this today.
Yeah.
Yeah, can confirm. All right, and of course, my name is the Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at the Black Link. In terms of live streams, those have been on hold for a while, and they might be on hold a little bit longer. I may, very strong may, be having a big change in my work schedule where I'll no longer be working all night long, and instead I'll be working during the day. So we might be switching our live streams from, the morning into the early afternoon into sometime in the evening when I get all that settled out. Don't worry, it's not a bad thing. It's probably a very good thing. Maybe seeing a bit of a promotion in the workplace coming soon. And that comes
Hashtag
with
raise for TBL.
Yeah, and more work, but hey, I'll take the new schedule and whatnot. So when I get some free time and can actually solidly put together a live stream, that's when you'll be seeing. Hopefully, I'll still have enough time to get all that kind of stuff done and put together, the news videos and whatnot for Planet Destiny, which shouldn't be seeing any kind of slowdown. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyways, all that stuff. Of course, all the news videos will be popping up on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at youtube.com/Planet Destiny. But all right, everybody, that is it for episode 284 of the Planet Destiny podcast, your guide to this week in Destiny. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you all same time, same place next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. See you there.